Starting Sefer Sheni.
So what
It's a
capital?
bit of a landmark. Membase.
Sorry,
Membase. 42.
42.
It's interesting. This Sefer starts with the Kapitel 42 and it ends with Kapitel 72. And both of those numbers are significant. There's a Shem Mem base and a Shem Ein base. So the Shem Mem base is interesting. It's 42 letters, and it is not related to the actual gematria of one of the there's four numbers which are referring to the four different the miluim of the Shem Havaya. As we refer to the Aleph or the Yuds or the whatever. So there's the first one is Mem Hey, Mem Hey 45, which is gematria also Adam, and that's with the Alephs. And then you have Samach Nun base, something called Shem Ban, which is 52, and that's with the Milui of the Hay. And then there's another one that's kind of mixed up, which is 63, Samach Gimel, and then the last one is Ein base, which is the Milui of Yud. So each one of the Milui of the Yud, the Yud's in between. So it's each one is a different configuration. But anyway, this starts with Mem base and ends with Ein base. So it's interesting. This is a particularly passionate one.
42 to 71?
72.
42 to 72.
Yeah, it's change. It's interesting. I noticed that at least one or two other ones that are from Livnei Koirach, that was attributed to the children of Koirach, whether they interpret that to be that the Koirach was of course a family of Levium, so they were in the choir of the Levium in Bais Mikdosh, or you can actually say that these were written by Bnei Koirach themselves, the original Bnei Koirach, the sons of Koirach. But there's a few of them that are very much like into yearning. They're very yearning kinds of people. So it's a very heartsick. It's very very passionate. So these first two, this Ein base Ein Gimel, rather Mem base and Mem Gimel are both. Mem Gimel 43 is a continuation of 42. It's on exactly the same theme. You probably won't get time to get to that. It's a very short one. It's just continue. I don't know why it was actually divided up into two. It looks like it was one that's divided up into two. But for whatever reason, but hopefully we'll get through 42. We have to leave it at 9 o'clock. Okay, so let me first just kind of translate it to get a brief overview of the pshat of the Kapitel first, just what it seems to be talking about, and then we'll go into the Kan Tzippor interpretation. So it's Lanatzech Maskil Ibn Koirach. Maskil is, of course, an interesting word itself, but Maskil is more of an intellect, reference to the intellect. And to Ibn Koirach, this is the children of Koirach. Ka'ayol ta'aroig alafike moyim. Like the Ayal is some kind of a exactly how it's translated.
Deer.
Well, it's not a.
They've got your heart, but it's a
heart, an elk or something. It's some kind of one of those animals, one of those in that family. Anyway, it roars on the afiki mayim, on the water, and so there's this medrash about that he actually refers to it in the Kan Tzippor also, that there's the ayal, it actually should be ayala, the feminine deer or whatever it is has a problem with giving birth, and it can't give birth until the snake comes and bites it, and then that gives it the push or something to be able to give birth. So it's like roaring. It's in the state of kashalele that it can't give out it can't give birth, and it's like screaming there by the water until this nachash comes and gives it a bite. So that's like extra hashgacha protest that Hashem, shows.
Now, where's this from? Is this true in nature, or this is just the moshel?
I don't know. I don't know. They refer to it a lot, so I don't know. Again, we don't necessarily know exactly what animal this is, and I'm not sure if it happens all the time, or just some of the time, or or if it's just a moshel. I don't know. But it's brought in Chazal. Hinafshi Sara Gelechu Elokim. So we're comparing ourselves using this mushal of this animal that's in such pain and is screaming there by the water, that is like my soul is screaming out to Hashem, is roaring out to Hashem. Soma Nafshi Elokim Le'elkai. Why is it roaring? Because it's so thirsty. My nefesh, my soul is so thirsty for Hashem, to the living God. Musai Uvoy Ve'erua Pnei Elokim. So what is it specifically referring to is that I'm in the Gullus now. We're in the Gullus, after the destruction of Bais Mikdosh, presumably, and we can't go up to the Bais Mikdosh for the Shalosh Regolim, which of course means that if this was indeed written by the Bnei Koyach literally, then it would be written by Ruach HaKodesh, anticipating some future time when they're going to be in Gullus. But otherwise, it could be that they're children that went into Gullus maybe at the time of Bas Rishon or whatever, after the Bas Rishon.
So this is written after, I presume, Shmuel Hanavi, or after Shmuel Hanavi, or Bnei
well,
Korah.
it depends when you have a choice when to place it historically, is when it was written. Again, Bnei Korah could have two different meanings. But it would be if it's talking about Gullus, so it would be talking about after the Chorban of the Bais Rishon, presumably. Okay, so anyway, it's anticipating or looking back on, or in the middle of this time of not being able to go up to Bais Mikdosh for the Chagim. When will I be able to go up and see the face of the Eibishter? Now, this is also very interesting, very important to recognize, is that in the times of Bais Mikdosh there was what was called a Korban Re'iyah, and the whole idea was talks about Chagiga, right? So the whole idea, and we say that one of the mitzvahs she'elam shir is rayon, which is the mitzvah of going up on the Shlosh Regolim to see Hashem and to see and be seen by Hashem, so to speak. So this is when we talk about it being oil regel, that they went up to the Shlosh Regolim, it wasn't just to bring korbanos, and have a good time. It was actually that they felt that they were seeing Hashem's presence, and Hashem was watching them. They were coming to see and be seen. So that's an extremely, personal and direct kind of experience that they had, and it was a tremendously devastating when they we weren't able to experience that. So of course, Yidden in general blame themselves for their misfortunes, and the fact that the Golis was as a response to our own averos. So he calls it that my tears are like bread for me day and night, and that's how much of it there is. So what is, and even more or equally as, or certainly very painful, is the fact that the Goyim we're in Golis, and the Goyim are saying, so where's your God already? Where's why isn't he showing up? Why isn't he helping you? Kind of mocking us. So more a lie when they tell me every day, where's your God? So again, he's talking about this idea of pouring out your heart, pouring out your soul. Right, so it's Eila Ezkar. I remember this all the time. It's constantly in my memory, and I just pour out my soul. Eshbolai nafshi ki eshboy basach edadem ad beis elokim. E'evor basach edadem ad beis elokim. E'evor basach. And how does he translate it there?
When I remember these things, I pour out my soul within. I recall how it would pass on the throne.
That, yeah. What's the next phrase?
And lead them in procession to the house of Hashem.
Okay, so it's just describing the idea of the procession that was going up to the Bais Mikdosh. The koil rina the soida hamoin chogeg. So it was just this tremendously festive celebration, and everybody's just imagine the song and the dancing and the tremendous simcha that was going on at that time when they were able to go on koilis. It was with koil. It was a loud, festive procession. That I'm so devastated by this, and I can't come to myself. I'm praying out to Hashem. I should once again be able to see the Yeshiyas. Yeshiyas Ponav is itself an interesting expression. Like, what's the Yeshiyas Ponav? The salvation of his face. But in a sense, you can look at it like like the very fact that Hashem is looking at us, and we're benefiting from the Shkocha Protis, that brings the Yeshias. Or you could say the Yeshias that will bring us to be able to see His face, because we have to have a Yeshia just to be able to go back to Eretz Yisrael. Elokai ulai nafshi tishtaychach. So again, he uses this word tishtaychach. Alkein es chorcha me'eretz yarden me'hermoini me'har mitzar. So in the Kan Tzippor, he's going to bring down those talking about different levels of klippa. Nafshi tishtaychach. My soul is like Tishtaychach is from the word ishtachave, it's bowed down. It's
cast down.
Brought low. Tohoim korei lekoitzin erechu. It's they use this mashal of like one. It's a mashal of tzuris of misfortunes, that one, as if one abyss is calling out to the other abyss. It's like there's just such tremendous tzuris from all the koilis in it. So it's kind of contrasting the koil of the rina of the song that's by the Bais Mikdosh, going up to the Bais Mikdosh, and the koil of the tzuris, the moans and the groans of the tzuris, as opposed to that. Kol mishborecho v'galecho alai avuri, and all the waves are coming, on my head, it's pushing me down. So during the day, I'm asking Hashem for his. It's Yitzaba Hashem Chaz. It really says that Hashem is bestowing on me. How does we translate that there?
But the Lord will command His loving kindness, and in night His song will be with me, even as a prayer to the God of my
life. Yeah, so it's hard to know what he's referring to here. If it's talking about what he's praying will ultimately be, or if it's something that he's asking for Hashem to once again bestow His kindness and this kind of thing. But it's or during the day I'm asking for the kindness, and at night I'm still singing out to Him. I feel anyway, it's talking some respect the idea of praying out to Hashem. We should say this. So again, he refers to this mocking, and that they're out to kill me, and the tzichas going on. That it's used figuratively or not. It's again that he's killing me with these mockery of what is Hashem, because that's a chil Hashem. Because we're here crying out for Hashem to save us, and He's not appearing, and then why not? And then this is a big disgrace. Ma tishtachia nafshi. Again, a third time he's coming back with that word. Ma tishtachia nafshi and ma teheni olai hoichil lekim ki odedeni yeshiyas b'nai b'lakai. So this it ends up with a hopeful expression of hope, expression that we do trust that Hashem will indeed. What was asking me, like, why should I be so downtrodden? Hashem is going to save us. He is going to eventually. I appeal to Hashem, and that He will come back and we'll experience again the yeshiyas of beholding Him in His face. Okay, so that is a general overview of the contents. It's just a very, very heartfelt expression of what we were experiencing in Galus. Okay, so now we'll go into the Kan Tzippor's interpretation of this. Kabbalah. Okay, so he's again, as always, we're talking about the goal. The tachlis is to come to this idea of ponim b'ponim, this zivig of face to face. Even when we're talking about a period of extreme, that's the amazing thing is that that David HaMelech, according to whoever's whoever's writing this Tehillim, is in each case it's more than just David HaMelech. So he was talking about Bnei Koyel. So the point is that they're never losing sight of the goal, no matter how bad the situation at present is. And that's really the theme of this capital itself. Is in the depths of the golus and this disgrace and this pain and this suffering and everything else, we don't lose sight of that we're going to come back and be face to face with Hashem. It's like one extreme to the other, but we never lose hope. And that's what's kept us alive, for thousands of years. Is that we just look at it; it's imminent. Hashem, Mashiach's around the corner. We're gonna get there. We haven't lost faith in that. And when we think about that and we remember that in our collective subconscious or whatever it is, no matter how far we've been from that, we can conjure up that kind of experience, what they were feeling at that time. We're going to get back there. It's going to happen again.
It is amazing how the Jew has maintained a messianic tension to this very moment. He's maintained it for thousands of years.
You got the Babshas going.
It's emunah and bitachon.
That's
trust.
That's part of it, but it's
But the very fact
Not giving up. It's yearning. It's
it's a yearning. But the point is that what's most interesting is that we have the Tehillim that are not only just telling you everything's going to be all right. They're going to detail. The fact that we say these Tehillim till today is like it's inspiring us to experience that again. You know, we're always you know we're in the middle of it. You know, it's like you have to feel it. It's not just external to us. It's not like this you know thing that we believe in, our catechism or something. This is our life. You know, we're really
on a minute-to-minute basis.
Yeah.
Look, we just heard the planes going. There's 1.5 billion people trying to disturb us from reaching our panim bal panim with Hashem.
Yeah, right. Okay, so anyway, so he starts with this idea. This is talking about Netzach, which is we're in the middle of tonight is Netzach Shabbat Netzach, by the way, in Sfira.
Oh,
also,
I haven't counted.
It happens also to be the yahrzeit of a Duvidal Tolner.
Of who?
Of Duvidal Tolner.
That's your Rebbe?
That was my great-grandfather's Rebbe.
Wow.
Great-great-grandfather's Rebbe. He was in Ukraine, but I always felt the connection.
That's tonight, starting tonight.
It's tonight, yeah.
Is there going to be kugel?
I don't
Not there, not at Tolna either?
I don't think so. I bought some cookies. At least there's something. But I don't know, maybe Shmuel will surprise us. But the point is that he was a very, very big, great Rebbe. And he was also very into music. It's interesting.
Was he Hungarian or Czech? Where was he from?
He was not.
Polish.
No, he was in Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Chernobyl. It was one of the Chernobyl dynasties.
Okay.
Probably the biggest in his time.
Right.
When he was alive, it was probably the biggest. It was the biggest following. He was a very big miracle worker and everything.
Hashem.
But he was an example of an avoid of simcha. He was just very. He would make jokes. You know, he was famous for his jokes. Although he said I never made a joke because they always were symbolic. But he was very, very, very. So we say
an amazing aliyah.
So we say Netzach, and it's in a masculine. He was a masculine. He was like in a good sense. That was his thing. Anyway, just reminding me of that. So he's talking about this that the Netzach is going to be mizdabik. It's going to combine with Malchus through the Yesod. So the Yesod is always the connector. It's always connecting these together. So we're connecting Netzach now with Maskil, now with Yesod. So the idea is that, so Yesod is called Maskil, which is interesting. You wouldn't usually connect with that, but for some reason they're connected. And the idea of Netzach is again kind of this idea of being of Netzuchim. It's another thing that keeps us alive, is that we have this kind of competitive spirit. This is like this, like we're not going to let the going get the better of us. We're going to persevere and like they said, there was a fellow who was very famous that he lived through the war, and he said, and throughout the war, what kept him going was he said, "Ich will sei überleben," means I'm going to outlive them. And he just had this spirit of just, that was what kept them going. It was just pure desire to prevail and not give in, and even when they were totally, down and out. So this desire this ability, let's say, to fall back on that kind of resilience, that kind of perseverance, that kind of never give up. That's really what Netzach is about. That's why Netzach is signed with Suchim, which is victory or triumph. It's also forever. Nitzchias is the idea of just going on forever. So that's what Netzach is about. Anyway, so he says that the Nei Koirach is the gematria of Shin Ayin. Remember, a few times we mentioned Shin Ayin, 370. which is a gematria for a lot of things, but it's also the basis of the word Yeshua, the salvation. And it is 370, whatever. That's what it is.
370.
So it is so Yerushalayim. He says. First of all, it's the gematria of Bnei Koirach is apparently 370. It's 370. So Bnei Koirach itself is shine, and also it says the Yisoid of Yerushalayim. So Yeru spelled without the final Yud. So that's Yeru is Yud Reish Vav is a gematria for Gevura, which is also connected with Malchus. And that's the idea that it's illuminated in the face of it. Shalem is Sod Shinayim, the gematria. So Shalem is actually also 370. So it's Shalem. Shalem. If you split Yerushalayim into Yud Reish Vav and Shalem, so the Yud Reish Vav is the gematria of Gevura, and the Shalem is 370. So that's the basis of this mitzvah. So he says that's, and then if you divide the 370 lights, that's talking about the Shenayim, the Hoyrin, the 370 lights, it's divided up into the 10 spheres. And he goes into the whole thing about this. That's what it takes on to come. Okay. It's really complicated. Let's skip a little bit. So anyway, in any case, the 370 lights is talking about Malchus, that's involved with Gavirus, as we saw with the Yerushalayim, and Nimtukas, when they're sweetened, when they're resolved, so to speak. So it says at that time, so the Yoifi Kunehu, the beauty of the face, is that kind of a ruddy complexion is a sign of health. Yeah, so this idea of when the blood goes to the face, you get like a blushing. It's a kind of a blushing, but it's also a sign of beauty. It's like a rose or something. It's more of a colorful complexion, not blasé or pale or anything like that, which is considered to be not whitish. It's not considered to be beautiful. This warmth of the face is it's more. The face itself has more of this warmth than any of the other parts of the body. So that's a sign of what he calls Gvuras Nimtukas. The Gvura is red.
Is what?
The color of the Gvura is red. Every square has its own color. So this is the idea of the Gvuras, when the Gvuras are Nimtukas, when they're resolved, when they're sweetened. So then this redness comes out of the face, and that's considered to be a good thing.
That's the reason why human blood and all blood is red, because it's real red. It's a crimson red, scarlet red, because of the gevura in it.
It's also din.
And milk is pure white. Why? Because of the chesed. And what's the difference between blood and milk? It's the same substance, except the red blood cells have been taken out of it.
Sorry, the red has got copper and iron in it.
Right.
Plants have the juice of wheatgrass, whatever, is the same as blood, except it's got chlorophyll, copper, something. It's the same content.
Chlorophyll and blood are the same, except human blood has iron in the middle of it, an iron atom, whereas chlorophyll has a magnesium atom, makes it green. But what I'm talking about is milk. It's white. The symbolism is chesed, the mother's milk. What is the difference chemically between blood and milk? It's exactly the same substance, except the breast has filtered out all the red blood cells, leaving it pure white. Isn't that symbolism? Gevura and chesed.
And that's why we cannot, on a mystical level, we cannot mix halav and basar, because they're the same realm. You can mix beetroot, which is red, and cow and milk or meat. But because the two of them are the same, I don't know, the Olam Asiyah, I don't know what it is, but they're on the same level of creation, from what I can understand. Forgive me if I'm talking nonsense.
But anyway, the idea of the when the gvura is nimtik, so you tend to be more pink.
The gvura is
When you mix white and red, so you get pink. Right? So pink is like a pink rose, and the pink, pink is like a nemutza. It's maybe Rachem is pink. I'm not sure. One of the colors of Rachem. Anyway, so now we're trying to get the Malchus again to be illuminated. So that's our whole struggle to get that the shin that illuminated, so illuminated by the Shinai and the Hoyim. The 370 lights are shining on Malchus, and that's illuminating it and bringing it up. Okay, so now we go to Kayal Ta'areg, if you can mind. Okay, so he says that according to nature, it says the nature of the male to desire the female more than the female desires the male. It's interesting. He has more of a cheshik for her than she has for him. So
who has more cheshik?
The male. The male. The man desires the woman more than the woman desires the man. Which is interesting. It's interesting because you've got, on the other hand, you've got the curse of Chava is that she desires her husband, right? But either the desire is a different kind of desire, or maybe that's precisely the point. Is that without that klala, maybe he wouldn't be interested in her at all. He wouldn't be interested at all. But now because of that curse, now he's also she has to be interested in him. Otherwise, it's like Zera, like I said, how to make it that way. But in another case, so he drinks out from this. Oh, he says because of this, actually, that a woman who rebels against her husband. It says that a woman who rebels about a husband, they take off from the ksuba 7 dinar a week. They start deducting from the ksuba that she would get 7 dinars a week. But when a man is more on his ishtar, on his wife, and he doesn't want to be with his wife, so then they add to the ksuba only 3 dinars a week. So that's because the tsar of the man when his wife rebels against him is greater than the tsar of the woman when he rebels against her, so to speak. So he gets a bigger. The penalty is more on the woman. So that's mamash halacha. Anyway, so it says at the time that Malchus, that this feminine Shekhinah, is getting these 370 lights of hers. So at that time, the masculine, the Ankrim, has a desire for the Shekhinah. And so these Batchanim, he talks about the Tehillim is like written by the Batchanim, these are like the singers. So the singers are singing to the Shekhinah, and they're saying to the queen, and they're saying just as the chassan loves and desires his bride, so the bride desires her husband, her chassan. So they're trying to be ma'oyer again, this mutual desire, one for the other. So even though, according to the Teva, it should seem that the male is more desires the woman more. So we're talking about that the woman has the kala when she's illuminated like that. So then he wants her even more. So ordinarily, naturally, he wants her, but because of his illumination, he wants her even more. Right?
Because of her illumination or his illumination.
No, hers.
Hers.
Right. So we're talking about these 370 lights are shining on her. Then she's as even more. She inspires even more desire from her husband. And it says, so even though, so there should be even a bigger gap between what the husband wants his wife as opposed to what the wife wants her husband. Nevertheless, we say that the wife wants the husband equally to what the husband wants to do. Nature, and especially when she's illuminated like that, really he should want her much more than she wants him. But now we're stimulating the desire of the Shekhinah for Hashem, for the Kodesh Baruch Hu, for the Zerampin. So the feminine should desire the masculine as much as the masculine desires the feminine, and then they can come to this equal face to face. And as long as one desires the other more than the other one desires them, it can't be equal. So in order to be equalized, we have to boost up this feminine thing. So that's the whole thing that we are, Klal Yisrael is compared to the Shekhinah. I mean, we're connected with the Shekhinah, right? So the more we desire Hashem, the more Hashem, we have to boost our own desire for Hashem up to the level so that we're going to become an equal footing with Hashem. Hashem already desires us. The kitzur. You want to bring it down to the nimshal, so to speak. Hashem desires Klal Yisrael. Hashem wants to be united with us. He created us. He wants us. He's got these grand plans for us. What's going to be in Olam Haba and everything else. He wants us. The challenge for us is maybe naturally we can't really desire Hashem as much as He wants us because we don't see Him. We have this distance between us. So we have to work on ourselves to inspire ourselves to want Hashem as much as He wants us, and then we'll be able to come to this level of one another. So that's really our challenge. So this whole thing is about developing this desire, this roig al afike mayim, right? The keva is okay. So the mayim is the idea of chesed, which is from the chasadim of Hashem, the tip of zera, and kein nafshi, the malchus, which is nefesh. Nefesh is again the Shekhinah. That's the malchus. So then we're trying to unify malchus with the other midas, with zerampin, masculine and feminine. So the way we do that is my nefesh, my malchus, is crying out to you, Hashem. It's crying out to. So the Shekhinah is crying out for the zerampin, for the masculine, for the so with the element of Elokim, which is Gvura. So now we're going to Gvura. Right. So now the Gvura is going to be able, because Gvura is Makabel, that's receiving. So it's receiving the Chesed from the masculine from Hashem, and then it all is going to be so it doesn't. It says that there's a statement that a drop doesn't come down from Shemayim until 2 drops, or every drop that comes down from Shemayim is received by 2 drops from the river that it falls into, or the pond that it falls into. It's like 2 drops go up to receive the 1 drop that comes down. So it's the idea that's the idea that's going up to the makabel. That's also like the geshem, the rain, which is the idea of mayim, is chesed, and that's coming down into the river, which is makabel that. But then to receive it, it's the water from underneath is going up, so it causes an elevation. So when Hashem wants to be mashpia on us, we go up to receive that from Hashem. So we can't just be passive. We have to actively, if we see that Hashem wants us so much, that we have to respond to that by going up and to greet Him. So it's Sama Nafshi Elokim Lekelchai. So he says, Elokim again is the idea of Gevura. So the Lamed Mem are from the word Elokim are interchangeable, and the Gevura of Malchus, because Malchus is also a unit of Gevura, so it is thirsty for this Zerampin. Zerampin is called Kelchai. So that's also a reference to Kelchai. It's also a reference to the masculine. Kelchai. It's also a reference to the masculine. It's also a reference to the Yisoid. So that's really the Yisoid, which is also coming through the Chesed. So that is all coming down and combining with the Buddhist of the Shekhinah. So it's asking Musai Uvoi, when will I be able to come up to the Madrega that I'll be able to say that I'm seeing the face of Elokim? because at the time it says Be'ez Shem Malchus Malea Gevurus with Dinim. So at a time, like in the Gulas or whatever, where there's a lot of dinim, so we've always said that the idea is that the dinim have to be nimtik, that there has to be a resolution to the dinim where they become at one with the chassid. But when there's a situation where the malchus, where the shechina is full of dinim, either because of a kitrig, if there's complaints against them, or in a very, very weak, position, whatever, so it's a sign of a lot of dinim. So it's saying to Zerampin, to the masculine, because of all of this tremendous dinim, now I can't even look at, you can't even look at me. I'm like hiding myself. If I have a lot of averas and dinim and everything else, I don't want to face Hashem. I don't want to come, appear in front of Him. I want to hide myself, right? So then you can't get together, because one's hiding from the other one. That's like the worst possible situation. So then it can't see the face of Zerampin. So this face-to-face thing is totally destroyed. When there's a situation of dinim, then first of all we feel like we can't face it because we have too many areas, and also, which is a psychological thing as well. What's the idea of tshuva? Tshuva is a reconciliation. In other words, the problem with doing averas is that it distances you, and from Hashem, you feel like you can't have a normal relationship with Him because you're too embarrassed. You feel like, how can I face Hashem when I did such and such, right? So you have to clear the air, you have to clear that away, and you feel that you can now, come back to Him and have some kind of relationship. So it's extremely important to clear that. But then we also have to ask Hashem to accept this again, because Hashem could be turning away from us. So that's the idea of Orcha B'Orcha, is we're back to back, because I can't face him, he doesn't want to face me. Then we're not going to be able to get back together again. So somebody has to take the initiative to try to break through that stalemate, and we should be able to come back together. So it's a good tshuva. So anyway, we're asking for Hashem that Hashem should come back to us in a sense and be mashpia on us, that person, and then we'll be able to come back to the level of coming and be face to face again. Which was the idea of the regal. We came back to the Bais Mikdosh, then it was a time to tshuva before that, so we'll be able to clear away all the averas, and there was the idea of she had to become purified from any tumor or whatever, and go back to the Bais Mikdosh, and that's where we would see each other face to face, and the girls would be nimtik. Okay, so now it says, so the tier is with the koil is a matcha kuf chuf 120, which is 120 different tziruf elakim. There's 120 different ways that elakim can be spelled, and they change around the order of the letters. So he says, so the lechem is the zivig of day and night.
Of what?
The zivig, of day and night.
Day and night.
So that's also Zohar Nekeva is also compared to day and night, right? And the zivig takes place at night. So that's the idea of lechem. Lechem is also a reference to the zivig, right? This is a pasuk. The ima lechem asher giyoicha is referring to that also. So now we're full of dinim. It's because why are they looking for Hashem? Why are we searching for Hashem? Because Hashem has left us. So now we're able to find Hashem. It's not when everybody's happy and everybody's, then it's no problem to find Hashem. He says, look, Baruch Hashem, and Hashem's here, and they're having such a good time, and everybody's feeling good, and then it's easy to see Hashem. But when things are not so good, and everyone's depressed, and then where's Hashem? Show me Hashem. I can't find Hashem. So so here we're trying to, so that statement of Emor Elai Kol Hayom Ehyeh Lekechel, where is Hashem? Hashem is hiding Himself. So that's a symptom that there's dinim, that it's real problems here. So we have to take the dinim. We have to try to somehow get rid of those dinim. So then it says Eila Ezkeru. So even though the zivig was on the level of Yaakov and Leah, which Kabbalah is a certain type of zivik that does take place. That can happen after Chatzois, he says. So then, and Eila is so we're divided. Eila Ezkra. So Eila is the Oisis Leah, right? So Ezkeru is that caused there to be a zivig. But even though there was a zivig, there was some kind of come together. It was with great pain. It was a very painful type of zivig, and it had to come from Oila Bria. He says so. Eshvalai Nafshi. So even though there was a zivig of Yaakov and Leah, there was for Rochel the other aspect of it, which is a higher level. Whatever. It's not so much. It's not. It's more nogea to us, let's say. Rochel is like that's the Shechina. Leah is Bina, that's on a much higher level. So it could be that the zivig is taking place on such a high level it's so remote from us that we don't even feel a connection to that. And or it could be that it's probably it. But on the level of Leah and Yaakov, that's not happening. And that's really what we're interested in. So that's the Shvichas HaNefesh that we're desiring, that we're crying out, that we want that to happen again. So it says, says that there's a curtain between Atzilus and Bria. So now he says that I've come face to face with the Shinai and the Horn. It's not like we're reverting back to the very beginning when we're talking about the illumination of the Shekhinah with the Shinai and the Horn. Now we can go up from step to step until we get up to a level where we can once again come together, and where we can once again make a zivig, we can come together, panim, and that is the. So the thing is, it says that was the level that there's two lights, Shnei Oiris, that end up in Bina, which is Elokim. Bina is referring to Elokim, so it's very high up, and that's the level of Bais Sheni. He says, "What do I get Bais Sheni?" Bais Sheni, the second temple. Okay, so then he says B'kol Din of Soidik. So it's kind of he's talking about instead of just in the pshat of the capital, he's talking about remembering those good times. Here he's talking as if we're getting back to them now. It's like in real time. Now we're back there again, but we still have to work up to it in a gradual way through different steps. So he says, so he's saying that when Malchus sees itself, that it's going up on these the levels till it elevates itself to the level of Netzach Yisoid, the lower three levels, which it's starting to reveal now that the spheres are going back up, they're being elevated back again with this 370 lights, 370 Hayron. So now it remembers how it used to be crying like that. So it's kind of almost like a flashback where we're thinking back on what it was like in those times. And then and how he was Tishtoichi Nafshi Le'ofa, that I was cast down into the dust. And now I'm on such a high level. So he says, so now I'm going to call out to Elokim, which is the idea of Bina. And now we're going to start revealing these levels until we get into this level of the Bais Sheni of the second temple. And then you get up to this level where, so we started up by the lower levels of Netzach Yisoid, and now we're going to go up to the levels of Chesed Gevur Tiferes, and we're going to start to reveal those. And then it's going to be, and then when you get up to that higher level, then ultimately it's going to get to the point of being what's called the koima of Zer Ampin, to get to the whole structure is going to be revealed of at least the 7 lower spheres from Chesed down to Yisoid. So what we're doing is basically we're starting from the bottom up.
Koima, a floor.
Yeah, because the koima is like this we say now. Koima Shlema means the total structure. Koima is like a stature. It's the like memius. It's the idea of being a straight up So the idea is here that he's talking about a process, starting a process now, which is going to allow us to slowly reveal these levels, going up the ladder, to reveal the total structure, the total stature of the spheres, starting down the lower ones and going gradually up to the higher ones, which is